Chapter 10, Lecture Notes, Part 2 on Simple Interest. For the next section of the chapter, we focus on the impact of making a partial note before the actual due date. So we're saying, what is the impact of paying a note before it's actually due? Well, what that does, it reduces the amount of interest that's going to be owed at the actual due date. So whenever you pay before the payment is due, or you make a partial payment, that's going to help to reduce the amount of interest that's paid on that loan over the life of the loan. Because interest equals principal times rate times time, right? So the smaller the principal, the less you're going to pay in interest over the actual life of the loan. Okay? Let's get right to it. Jeff owes $5,000 on a 4% 90-day note. On day 50, Joe pays $600 on the note. On day 80, Jeff makes an additional payment of $800. Assuming a 360-day year, what is his adjusted balance after day 50 and after day 80? Then what is the ending balance due? So let's analyze this situation. So Jeff is going to owe $5,000 at the end of 90 days plus 4% interest. Jeff decided to make payments before the due date in an effort to reduce the principal balance and to reduce the amount of interest paid over the actual life of the loan. Okay? So the first payment was made after day 50. Interest equals principal times rate times time. So the interest from the date of the loan until the first payment date, being 50 days, will be $27.78. So when Jeff paid the $600 on day 50, the first $27.78 of that went toward the interest amount. The remaining $572.22 reduces his principal balance. So at this time, his remaining principal balance is $4,427.78. Okay? So whenever you make a partial payment, or if you make an overpayment, if you're paying, say, a monthly amount, then the partial payment or the overpayment is going to reduce your principal balance. Did you all know that? Now you know. You can thank me later. Let's continue. So we know that the amount was $44.2778 was the principal balance after he paid the first payment, right? So the next payment is paid on date 80. So between day 50 and day 80 is a 30-day time period. So we're now going to calculate the interest from the date the first payment was made until the date he made the additional payment. So you take the new principal balance times 4% times 30 over 360. That'll give you accrued interest of $14.76. So now when Jeff pays the $800 on day 80, the first $14.76 is going to be interest. The remaining $785.24 reduces the principal balance. So now the remaining principal balance on this loan is $3,642.54. Okay? Now the question is, what is the ending balance due on this note? So remaining balance will be due in 10 days. So now to get the remaining interest, let me move that over here somewhere. You can go over there. There we go. You would take the current principal balance times 4% times the remaining time period of 10 days, and that would give you interest of $4.05. So the remaining amount that Jeff has to pay on the maturity date would be $3,646.54. $1.59. Okay, let's analyze this. So let's say Jeff did not make any payments until the 90-day period. You would take the 5,000, do my calculator, times 4%, 0.04, times 90 divided by 360. So Jeff will pay a total of $5,050 if he did not make the partial payments. By him making the partial payments, he'll pay a total of $5,046.59. The remaining balance here, along with the $1,400 that he's paid already. Perhaps you're saying that, well, Jeff did not save that much in interest. True, it wasn't a huge amount, but it was a savings. The reason why it wasn't a huge amount was because this was only a 90-day note. Now think about your car note payment that you're paying maybe over 60 months, 72 months. For some, it could be 84 months. There could be considerable savings in interest when you have a longer time period to pay the money back by making those partial payments. Here's a challenge. Look at anything you're making a payment on, whether it's your house note or your car note, even your student loans. If you're able to make a partial payment, okay? Or when you make the actual payment, let's say if your note is $500, if you can, pay $600 because the additional $100 goes to reduce the principal balance and will reduce the interest you must pay back over the actual life of that loan. Okay? Again, you can thank me later. So now let's do some drills to make sure you understand the concepts that we've covered in this course. Principal amount, $7,800. Interest rate, 4 1/4%, which would be 4.25 as a decimal. Time period is 18 months. We're saying what would be the simple amount of interest on this loan and what would be the actual maturity value. So for the interest, it's principal times rate times time. So the simple interest will total $497.25. Add the simple interest to the principal amount to get a maturity value of $8,297.25. Next, we're going to use the ordinary interest approach to determine the amount of interest and maturity value. We borrowed $1,000 on March the 8th, 8% annual interest rate. We must pay the money back on June 9th. Okay? So first determine from March 8th to June 9th is going to be how many days. It's a total of 93 days from March 8th through June 9th. If you need to, use your fingers with the calculation. So now that I have the number of days, the exact number of days being 93, I can now plug things into the actual equation. Principal amount, 1,000. Rate being 8%. Time will be 93 over 360. So based upon these amounts, the interest would equal $20.67. The maturity value will be the 1,000 in principal plus the interest. Therefore, the maturity value will be $1,020.67. Try another one. All right. This time we're using the exact interest approach, meaning that rather than using 360, we're going to use 365 days. So your principal amount still 1,000. Rate is 8%. Your time factor is now 93 over 365. If using the exact interest approach, the interest amount will be $20.38. Therefore, the maturity value will be $1,020.38. Okay? Solve for the missing item in the following. They gave us principal. They gave us interest rate. They gave us simple interest. but not the amount of time. We want to put time in terms of either months or in terms of years. So remember that you can always change your formula to solve for the unknown. In this case, we're trying to solve for the t, which is time. So I can change my formula around. I have the interest, divide the principal rate into that in order to get the actual time. The interest is $100. The principal is $400. The interest rate is going to be 5%. So again, we're solving for the t. So in this situation, we put t by itself, and t would equal 5 years. So if you take 100, 400 times 0.05, just use my calculator here, that would give us, should be 20. Just double checking, 400 times 0.05, yep, it'll give you 20. 100 divided by 20 would give you 5 years as your time period. You can always check this by putting it into the original equation, principal times rate times time. If I take 400, principal amount, rate of 5%, times 5 years, that would give me simple interest in the amount of $100. So when doing these type of problems, always check your work. Once you calculate the principal amount, the interest rate, or time, plug it back into the original equation and make sure your numbers all check out. So hopefully you enjoyed this lecture over simple interest. You can use this for calculations, whether you owe for a student loan, car note, a mortgage. You can use these calculators to determine the amount of interest that's going to be applied when you make your different payments. Okay? All right.